Hi everyone. This week's lecture is very fascinating, especially with the guidance part. I was very surprised on how we can use guidance in the way to help children throughout their development, not just by teaching them how to do things. Like an example could be if they have a cup and they threw it on the ground, we will guide them to be like, hey, like in the social norms, like, hey, we should pick up that cup and clean, and we should clean up the mess because the floors get sticky and someone could trip on the cup like that. But also we can also turn into a way where it's engaging for the child instead of being like making them go down, pick it up. We could do it like a game or an activity or through a song because children are receptive to more of those things easily than just words itself, which is very fascinating. Or we can help children regulate their emotion and behavior if they're going through something. Like if a child's upset because his ice cream fell, instead of just saying, "Oh, you're fine," and just let him be, instead of like letting him know, "Hey, it's okay that your ice cream fell, but what can we do?" And like try to help them shift into that, like shift into what you call it, trying to help them transition out of it. Like we can help them be like, "Hey, it's okay that you dropped your ice cream, but would you like to do this? Like we could do this instead, or we can try this instead." Like if that happens, because having the idea of transition and like helping them regulate through how they're feeling helps, or where they can express, or ways to express is like either letting them cry about it or helping them through drawing or playing or reenacting that too. It helps. But I feel that's like too much for an ice cream now. I feel like for an ice cream, if they dropped it, be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." It's okay. Like try to engage them in a different activity. That's how we can do it. But in more like advanced situations or serious situations, if like someone's being mean to them or saying rude comment, we can help them express it by using our words. Be like, "Hey, I don't like how you said this to me. It made me feel that," and they'll be receptive and help them build communication skills and stuff like that. That's what I feel like it is. And then as disciple, discipline, not disciple, discipline. I was very fascinated that it means disciple. Because growing up, I feel like, well, I've been raised by discipline meaning punishment, and I'm like, hearing about that is very fascinating, and that we are as discipline, we were the disciples, we are teaching the children how to do these things in a certain way, like in a behavior. Like example with behavior, like let's say if like two children are fighting, instead of us disciplining them by spraying them apart, putting them in time out, be like, "Hey, what's going on? Why you two are fighting?" And trying to help and be the teacher and like just teach them how to properly communicate with one another and be like, "Oh, he grabbed this. I didn't like that, and I wanted to play with him." Like, okay, and then we could teach him how we have to wait to take turns, or learning how to share, or something like that. Because I feel like punishment and discipline are like two different things. Like not discipline. No. Yeah, they're two different things. Because discipline is us being disciple, teaching these things, while punishment is just being like, "Oh, you did this, you're going over there for 5 minutes," or so on. And I feel like that right there isn't very useful, and I feel like it brings more negativity, if anything. Like, a good example to this is honestly those reality nanny TV shows of. Actually, no. I feel like those are like more of a mix, if anything, because they have like those timeout areas and stuff like that, yeah. But I feel like with timeout, like the professor says it all depends on the child. If the child's not receptive towards timeout, it can feel it's a negative thing. So that's like a iffy situation right there. But more of a bad discipline that can affect children a lot is spanking. Corporal punishment is honestly one of the worst punishments. My personal opinion, is bad for children, because if we do corporal punishments, they're not gonna get nothing out of it. It's just gonna make them feel more bad about themselves and being like, oh, if I hit this person, he'll listen to me, and so on. And that's what we do not want. We do not want children to hit one another or grow up in in a relationship where hitting means that you're quiet. No, like, no, because I feel like that right there is to mess up the child more. One last thing that really took me by surprise throughout this lecture is the fact that sometimes we need to start limiting barriers. Like, not limiting, releasing barriers and unlimiting them. Like how the professor was talking about with Hope with the gate, and how that she at first had it there for when she was little, so that she's been running the water, but as she got older, she decided to give her more independence and trust, and letting that and starting to limit those things, and allow, like, to get rid of the gate and allowing her more trust to walk with her to the water, like to whatever. That's also important too, to have. I don't know what the word is used for it, but what I'm basically saying is sometimes as we children get older, we need to start eliminating those barriers that we have in place and letting them be more independent. And I feel like that right there and what we teach about guidance and discipline will help them in their development a lot, especially throughout life. And also teaching them ways of better communication and understanding. Because at the end of the day, these kids are very fascinating creatures, and we need to preserve that. And also preserve the development and growth, and understanding that, like us, they are their own person, and we need to respect and care for them like we do with ourselves. Thank you all, and have a good night. And I apologize for posting this a little late. I had um, a really bad stomach flu this week, so doing better, but still, I apologize for this being late.